doors, fueling lights.
Out.
APU bleed.
Off.
Recycle fan.
Off.
Anti-collision.
Right.
Engines.
Starting 2.
2 is clear.
Tanzania 137,
Pulse right.
Gears up.
30, 1 to north runway 05, you land.
Clear to land, 137.
Gears up. Log no light.
Checked.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jumbo. From the flight deck, this is your first officer, Brian, speaking. On behalf of so-and-so, Captain so-and-so, I'd like to welcome on board this flight number 100, bound to Dar es Salaam. Flight time to Dar es Salaam will be about 1 hour, and we'll be cruising on an altitude of 25,000 feet above mean sea level.
A lot of people usually have dreams of becoming pilots, actually, when they're young.
Yeah.
A lot of, but their dreams don't turn out true. And I also believe for you at first, you didn't actually want to be a pilot. I heard your story.
Yeah.
You first wanted to be a firefighter, and then later you wanted to be a police, and then later on, you ended up being a pilot. How did you manage to kind of like identify at the end that you really wanted to be a pilot?
Well, in life there's always that one thing that ticks you.
Yeah.
There are things that you do and then you're like, it's all right. And then there's one thing that you come across and you're like, no, this is it. Yes, I probably think the time I actually boarded a plane for the first time, and love at first sight just happened. Just like that. Yeah, so it just got me into it for good.
And what made you
Yeah.
change, from like wanting to be a firefighter and a police all the way to being a pilot?
Well, the other things, if you look at it, these are all the things that you watch from a TV, a movie, or such things. You never actually try to experience being in one. But with a plane, it was different. I was actually a passenger in a plane, so I could actually experience what it feels like being in a plane.
So it was
Yes,
about
that just changed the experience. Yes.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And one of the
Yeah.
things that you did, one of the characters that you had was actually following people and asking questions. I mean, asking questions pilots, right? And, it's a spirit that a lot of people do not have. They're afraid to ask questions. They're afraid to say that they don't know. But, what made it easy for you to ask questions and say like, hey, I don't know this thing and I would like to learn from you?
I was never scared. That's one thing I was never scared. Confidence is everything, because pilots are just normal people like any other person. They're just people in uniform, But for me, because it's something that I loved, so I could just follow up anyone, be like, yo, so what do you fly? Where do you go to? How did you train? Such things, And I'd ask the same questions every single time I see a pilot.
So you're also curious.
And I never got tired. Very curious, You want more information every single day. Yeah.
And on your first time to fly, were you not afraid of heights?
No, that's one thing I never had. I was never scared of heights.
Wow.
I'm an adrenaline funky, so yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so after you knew you wanted to be a pilot, like what are some of the things that you started doing? Of course, you said you started asking pilots questions and you're curious. But then what path did you start taking so that you can become a pilot?
The first thing I remember what I used to do was gaming and simulation. I used to have like toys, games, everything just airplane related, So to me, it was not a game, but to me, it was a learning curve, something that you want to learn out of it, I don't think games were there to just people to just play and leave and go, Any game you play, there's something you're learning out of it. Probably it's your IQ, probably it's your way of thinking, probably it's the way you see things. So to me, gaming was a way of me to learn. And then as time goes, technology advances, you start getting hardwares, upgrade your computers, get the actual simulators and all that stuff. So to me, that was one step forward.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
So don't give up. You know, some people, I have tried with so many other friends of mine, even my games, I could stay for 3-4 hours in a simulator. You know? But the people just give them 5 minutes and they're bored. You know, like, no man, I cannot do this anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I could stay for 6 hours. 6-hour flight, 6-hour flight. You know, just on a seat, on a computer, and that's it. You know?
And how about academics? Like, you know, what subjects do you take? Because, you know, like there are specific subjects that individuals have to take in order to, you know, pursue a career in.
Well, as I always say, and I've said this a million times, there's no such thing as subjects, you know. These are just guidelines. They're there to help you out, to make things easier for you. They're not a requirement, you know.
Yeah.
I've had people like no background in physics, no background in math, and they're pilots today. Because those are just there to make life easier, you know. Because I could ask the same thing, like, what subjects do you need to drive a car? None. Common sense.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just that this flies, the car goes on land. So you go to a flight school, you start from scratch. What's an airplane? How does it fly? What's a wing? You know, simple math. Takes me 2 hours to fly for this distance. What speed am I traveling? It's simple math, basic math, you know. Things get complex when you're an engineer. An engineer is something different now. But as a pilot, all you need to know is to fly a plane, diagnose, you have a failure, tackle it, land safe, and that's it.
So it's mostly about, you know, only your passion and your dedication.
It's all about up here. Critical thinking. Flying is all about critical thinking. That judgment. Why did you do A, not B? Why did you decide to do C, not D? That's flying. You know, you see a cloud in front of you. Why turn left? Why not right? You know, such things. You know?
Oh, interesting. And on your flying career, was there any time that you came across turbulences?
Everywhere. You know, what's turbulence? If you ask anyone what's turbulence, they'll be like, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to experience that. No, turbulence, no way. But if you understand what it is, it's everywhere, you know. There are different types of turbulence. There are thermal, there are air pockets, clouds themselves, you know. These are all sources of turbulence in an aircraft.
Yeah.
So air being one of them, an aircraft to fly needs air. So if it's air, there's turbulence. It depends. Is it rough air or smooth air? Rough air, why? Why is it turbulent during the day, not during the night? You know, such things. But it's nothing to be scared of. It's nothing to worry about. It's all safe and it's part of the journey.
I mean, I asked this question because there was a time we were flying and, you know, we came across turbulence and it was like really crazy and everyone was scared. People were shouting and we were almost landing actually. And then we had to fly. We are landing in Johannesburg and then we had to fly to Botswana and then come back to Johannesburg later. And I mean, after that, I was like, you know, turbulences, oh no. I was really scared of them.
I can put myself in the passenger side. I understand. It's a scary moment, the vibration, the ups and downs, I understand. But once you get to know what it is, you're like, it's all right. We'll get through this. It's okay.
And
so it's just a weather phenomena. That's it.
And back to where we started actually. As I said, a lot of people when they're young, they actually want to become pilots, but then they don't turn up. I mean, only a few % of those people who wanted to become pilots end up being pilots. And what do you think is the reason, according to your experience, being a pilot? And you know.
Okay. With flying, it's different because, as I said, it needs your 101% of your brain, you know, and it gets boring at times. It does get boring. It gets scary at times. I've had people we have done training together. Halfway, they're like, "No, this is not my thing. I can't do this." You know.
Yeah.
Lightning strikes, poof, you see a lightning strike and you're like, no, that's not my thing. You know? But some of us, we love that. We love that adrenaline rush. We like it, you know? And the prestige of flying a $1 million machine, that just kills it, you know?
Yeah.
And yes, there are other criteria like finances, medical stuff, you know. It's not for everyone. You know, not everyone can afford the training expenses. When it comes to such things like, what can I say? What was my other criteria? Because basically, majorly, it's finances. Finances is a setback for so many things, you know. When you start imagining an African like myself, you know, telling a parent that you need about $70,000 to go do this in 1 year. Like, how do I spend $70,000 in 1 year? I don't even make that in 3 years, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it's a step. It's a baby step. It's a baby step. Simple math. Try saving $1,000 a month. The moment you finished college, let's say, or finished high school, $1,000 a month. Try save that. In a year, that's 12,000. In 5 years, that's about 60,000.
Yeah.
And trust me, most people, most folks finish their high school by the age of what? 21?
Yeah.
20?
Yeah.
So 6 years in time, 5 years in time, you're 25. You're still too early to start school. You still have time to go through it. But the one thing is because we are not patient. You want to become a pilot now, you think about it, you want it now. Somebody tells you it's going to take you 5 years later, like, no, man, 5 years, I can't take it. No. I did 5 years degree before I did my aviation. You know, I was so hyped, I was so pumped about being a pilot, and then boom, a hammer. You're no longer becoming a pilot first. First, go get your degree done. I was like, really? 5 years? Like, yeah, we have to do that. But everything makes sense later now. Now you have your degree, you're a pilot. All those days you're just home, no flights, especially now with the COVID and all that stuff, you're home. I'm like, so what do I do next? Then deals come in. Yo, you did your software engineering, right? Yeah. Can you like design a program for us? Can you design a website for us? That's extra cash coming in right there.
Yeah, exactly. And
imagine, you know?
Yeah. And I also actually wanted to ask about software engineering, right? And so you're a pilot and you also studied software engineering. What made you study software engineering?
Yeah. I loved computers.
Wow, interesting.
I used to be a computer geek since.
Wow.
I used to love computers, yes.
So that way you studied 2 degrees.
No, piloting is not a degree. It's just a license.
Oh, it's just a license. Oh, interesting.
Just a license. Yeah.
So then you have a degree in software engineering and a license in flying.
Yes.
What's your best flying experience?
40 left hand direct gauge, come to climb 822, 40118.
Okay, after takeoff, checks, standard.
After takeoff checks, landing gears up, flap 0, auto feather off, climb power set. Lead 192 on now, standby press to control now, tanks pump 192 is off, engine temperature pressure check.